I love farming. So we're gonna farm all the Mushoku Tensei controversy. Mushoku Tensei is coming out in July. We still have a few months, and I'm already gonna pre-farm all of this. We know it's gonna get worse, so this is just the build-up. A lot of people disagree with me, but I think I have like a neutral position on a lot of Mushoku takes. I don't think it's bad, right? I think Mushoku Tensei is a very well-written story. I think Rudeus is a very well-written character, but I also think Rudeus is a fucking weirdo, and I think you shouldn't defend him. And I think there are some things in Mushoku Tensei, like, his PDFness, which weren't addressed properly. And I also think the author, respectfully, is a weirdo. So those are my take. Now let's listen to what Josh Analyzes says, because one of my editors actually sent me this, and I actually haven't watched it. So
Reincarnation or Mushoku Tensei could have been a top tier new gen, but
it could have been if Mushoku Tensei wasn't, didn't have that negative aspect of his personality of him being a fucking PDF and a pervert. Mushoku Tensei would be so much popular, so much more popular. Like, it'd be crazy. But
because of the MC and his pedophilia, it ruined its chances by a long shot. Let's talk about it. The MC himself, Rudeus, literally ruins the potential that Mushoku Tensei.
I mean, popularity-wise, I agree. I mean, story-wise, would it be better? Like, writing-wise, I mean, maybe? Like, it's just like, I don't know. It could be, it could not be.
It could have been. It literally has everything you would want in a story.
That's true. It has amazing world building. The plot itself is amazing. The characters are amazing. Antags are amazing. The lore is amazing. Like, what else do you want? Like, the development's amazing. It has everything. I think it's like a good benchmark light novel. Like, you should like just benchmark everything against Mushoku Tensei, because it's like a solid, good light novel. A great light novel.
The MC that doesn't even change when it comes to his pedophilic natures.
I mean, later in the novel, he does change. Like, he reflects upon like himself and is like, yeah, that was weird. That was disgusting. But it's not addressed in a meaningful way. Like, there's no punishment, right? The girls he groomed just grew up. I guess he like, in a sick way, he like benefited from his PDFness. And then like after everything is done, he's just like, yeah, that was disgusting. That was bad. It just wasn't meaningfully addressed.
It's creepiness towards women, towards girls.
Yeah, that wasn't addressed either.
It really ruins.
But like, he's less of a pervert later on. He doesn't like grope people like later in the light novels anymore. Which, I mean, wow. I mean, that's like, he's not a fucking criminal. I mean, he already is, but like, he doesn't do criminal actions as often. But I mean, that's also partly because he has wives now that he can just do it with.
The story and how Mushoku Tensei is perceived as a whole. You as a fan base can hype this series as much as you want. But because that MC of yours, because this MC has this weird tendency to not respect or treat women in the way that they should be treated, this series will always be disrespected.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I agree. Mushoku Tensei will always be disrespected because like the main character is like a fucking weirdo. It's a PDF.
For that sole aspect, and you can't do anything about it. And I think the funniest thing about,
I mean, he's mostly just talking about the reputation of Mushoku Tensei. I mean, no one's arguing this, right?
All of this is people who defend Rudeus and his actions.
I agree. If you defend Rudeus' actions, there's an issue with you.
Notice how it's the weirdest people you would ever meet on the internet that defend Rudeus, because that literally shows you how his actions and what he does relates to what they see in people and how they would probably do the same thing if given the chance that
Yeah, I agree. Like, remember that video I made? Like, there was a video that I made a reaction to, right? A Mushoku Tensei video. And basically, it was like saying, if we were in Rudeus's this.
Everyone hates on Rudeus, but we would do worse things than him?
Who is we? What the fuck? Yo, Rudeus defenders. Yo, you guys are just outing yourself. Like, genuinely. And I clicked on this guy's profile, right? And he had like legit so many slides were just like fucking entire arguments about like why Rudeus was right. Or like, just defending Rudeus's actions. This guy is like, he needs to be watched.
Was given if they were isekai'd in that world, because there's no way you would defend a grown man being in another person's body, doing all those things, having ED, and the only way of curing that ED is sleeping with someone that happened to be a minor. All these stupid things justifying him sleeping with minors.
Yeah, it's just this is like the entire situation. Like, if you defend it, you're fucked.
And doing,
there's no way you can like spin this to defend Rudeus like at all.
All these damn loopholes. And it really just shows you how sick and twisted this author really was writing this character. He literally wrote everything else so well, but for some reason, this character, he just wrote him to be this piece of shit.
Yeah, because the problem is, for a lot of the anime, Rudeus like sexually harassing the women and girls around him was like shown in like a comedic way. A lot of it is just like, haha, he's like groping Eris. Haha, sure, like she punches him. It's done in a comedic way. Like it doesn't really mean anything. So it's almost like normalizing it. Or like it's like almost not showing it in like a very bad light, which can normalize it, right? Or like, give like the wrong messaging. So
Weirdo.
it is
And
weird.
you're supposed to not like him. So that's why you're supposed to somewhat
I mean, yes, you're right. It trivializes it. But like, if Rudeus faced real consequences for this in particular, like these actions in particular, that would be better. That'd be like a lot better. And like you'd have an argument like for Rudeus because like he'll learn, he like gets heavily punished for it, but it's just not meaningfully addressed. It just happens, and then Rudeus like gets some benefit from it, and then it's just like kind of stopped later on.
sympathize with him in the future. It's just so dumb. It just doesn't make sense. This could have been a top tier.
It's because it's Rudeus' POV. He thinks it's funny, and this is the time when he's still fucked in the head, I guess. But like you could have shown Eris or the other girls or all these people like being very uncomfortable about it. Like you could show the people around him being uncomfortable or like disliking it heavily. Like Eris, all she does is just punch him. Yeah, I understand. It's like she punches him or gets like temporarily angry, but I know what you mean by it's like by Rudeus' POV. But like the other characters, they're also there, right?
Story. If Rudeus was a better MC, a well-written or well-rounded MC.
I don't know how this makes Rudeus not well written. Like despite this, like Rudeus like developed immensely. He's like a pretty complex character. He has an amazing conclusion. Yeah, I understand this is weird, right? You can even argue it's a flaw because this was not addressed. But like besides that, he's an amazing character, like writing wise. Obviously not morally, not that at all. Don't fucking take me out of context. I don't know how this makes Rudeus like a badly written character. Like we don't want to conflate morality and like how well a character is written, right?
Author fumbled hard. And the fact that defenders of this show or this series is
I mean, the author didn't even fumble this. Like he meant to write it like this. Like he's gotten so much hate, and he just continues with how he does it. Like he genuinely wants it to be like this.
mostly lolicons or like PDF defenders, just shows you what type of audience he gained.
Yeah, you can. Mushoku Tensei garners an audience which is very, very strange. I like obviously not all of them. There's a lot of normal Mushoku Tensei viewers, but like the loud minority who defends this, they're very weird. So
And attracted within this series.
yeah, I agree. I mean, he made some good points. I disagree with the writing aspect. Like, I don't think this makes Rudeus like a badly written, and I also don't think the author fumbled because he literally meant it to be like. So it's not like really an accident. What do you guys think? There are villains who kill billions, and yeah, I agree. There's like characters who are like very, very evil, killed billions of people, have done disgusting things who, people think are well written. Yeah, morality doesn't like really correlate to writing. I've been saying this, it's so unwatchable. It is like pretty uncomfortable to a lot of people. Sorry, but the MC of a show being a bad person just isn't a valid critique. Everyone praises Breaking Bad, Chronos, and their main characters are also bad people. It is a dumb metric to measure how good a show is. You're free to not watch it because of it. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, we don't want to conflate morality and writing. That doesn't make sense. So many antagonists are like very fucking evil, but they're also well written. I got through about 10 minutes of the first episode before I couldn't deal with the MC anymore. Yeah, like literally right in the beginning, as soon as he's born, he's already like fucking checking out his mom, which is fucking weird. And like then Lilia. I love the world building, but Rudeus gotta ruin shit for me. Yeah, like at least it's like somewhat like it like lessens as seasons go on. It's not as commonplace. You think fumbled as in the series could have been bigger if he was written without. Yeah, I agree on that aspect if that's what he's saying, but like right before he did mention like the writing, right, him being a badly written character. So that's what I assumed he was talking about by fumbled. People don't understand that Rudeus being like that is the whole essence of the story. He's not meant to be defended, nor is he meant to be written any other way. I mean, I would agree, besides the part of it just not being addressed. Like the PDF shit and the pervy shit is just never really addressed in a meaningful way. Everything else that's unlikable about Rudeus, like him being a fucking bum, is addressed, and that's like developed heavily and it's very well done. But I agree, like Rudeus is not supposed to be liked in the beginning, but he is supposed to be liked at the end at least, or like people are supposed to look up to Rudeus at the end, I guess, or see him in a new light. again, if the weirdest part of him isn't addressed, it's kind of hard to do that. Literally a top 10 anime of all time. Yeah, it's fair if you have it in your top 10. Yeah, I got past those issues and I've enjoyed all of it. Already is, ain't no could have been. Yeah, it's the top 4 popular isekai for sure, or at least top 5. I would say it's in my big 3 of isekai. If we're not including Lord of Mysteries, the big 3 in my opinion would be Tensura, unfortunately, because it's just like, you know, has the most sales. ReZero, then Mushoku. Those are my big 3. If you're including Lord of Mysteries, I mean, not to be biased, but it is a top tier new gen. Isn't Mushoku Tensei like pretty fucking old? Like, how's it a new gen? Like the novel was written a long time ago. Like it's like one of the, I know it was after ReZero, but it was like around the time ReZero. Yeah, 2012. Thanks for sharing your opinion. And he puts it in the garbage. I see. It had hella potential, but it wasn't ruined. Sure, he's creepy, but he's just like all of us. Whether you want to. Oh my god. This is what I'm talking about. These are the weird people. These are the ones who defend it. You're just self-reporting, bro. What do you mean? But he's just like all of us, whether you want to agree or not. What? He's just like all of us. You want to tell us something, buddy? Maybe turn yourself into the nearest police station. Thanks for making the original post points. Y'all out yourself so fast. Yeah. Whatever floats your weird ass boat, I guess. Jail for you. You put on a list now. Yeah. Who is us? Jesus Christ, dude. Why are Mushoku Tensei fans like this? Literally, all you Mushoku Tensei fans have to do is like, I agree. Rudeus is a fucking weirdo, but still peak. Like the story is great. Like he's a good character, like writing wise. But yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. That's it. Like, why do you need to defend his actions? It makes no sense. You're not Rudeus. Like, you don't need to defend it. Like, you don't defend the actions of every fucking evil villain, do you? But you can still like the villain. Makes no sense. I lost all my interest in the franchise as soon as I heard that Norn's pair in the future is Rudeus. This is beyond fucked up. I think, like, obviously, it's a really fucking weird age gap, but I think Norn is an adult when it happens. Like, by our standards. I think she's like 19 or like 18 or something. Obviously, still very fucking weird because Rudeus is, how old is Rudeus? Like, fucking Rudeus age. He's like very old. He's like, yeah, 566 years old. But yeah, spoiler warning, guys. My bad. Anyways. Guys, you'll forget it happens like way later on, probably season 5, even later. I don't know, maybe season 6. Spoilers trying to add it again. Dude, it's in the comments, bro. I'm reading the comments. What do you want to say? I should have skipped it. It's fine, whatever. Mushoku Tensei suffers the same thing a lot of anime suffer from. Amazing world building and lore, but horrendous storytelling and narrative. What? Horrendous storytelling and narrative? What? The whole anime is his redemption arc. He goes from a piece of garbage to a semi-respectable adult. It's not a redemption story. It's a second life anime, like a second chance anime. It's not redemption. He doesn't like, it's not like punished. He doesn't do stuff that like really redeems him, right? Like he just, you know, redos his life better way for him, I guess. I don't think it's a redemption story. How did you know I never watched Mushoku Tensei? This is why Hollywood is dying. When a story is written, if you put restrictions on the story, it will make it lame. The show is top tier in Japan, so they won't bother about your opinion. Not every character has to be a saint. It's fictional. It's not that deep. Have you actually watched the series? He does change. That is true, but again, the weirdest parts aren't addressed. He does change. It's not as weird anymore, but it's not addressed in a meaningful way. That's my issue with it. So I read it and watched, but it's just impossible to not think all the hate is valid, sadly. Anyways, I think it was a 5 out of 10 video. 5 out of 10. You had some good points, like about the fans, but then also some like other points were just bad. So yeah.